So we already know I had the one Surface tablet with the cracked screen, so the touchscreen is obviously fucked. But it works just fine because I have the keyboard case and I've got a mouse, wireless in this case, but still. But that didn't stop me from finding an amazing deal on eBay, and now I have one, two, three more Surface Pro 3s. All with fucked up touch screens. And all with wireless mice and keyboards. Okay, seriously though, what's the point of this whole thing? Now, interesting thing, I don't have enough Ethernet ports to plug these in, nor do I have the proper dock. I have the dock for the one Surface tablet I've always had, but I don't have it for these. So these rely entirely on Wi-Fi. So, what we do about that is we have to make sure before we log in that we're connected to the Wi-Fi. Now, Surface Pro number 2 right here, this is 2, that's 3, that's 4. Kind of ironic because that's IBM 2, IBM 3, and IBM 4. That's just how it happened. But Surface Pro 2 is already connected to the Wi-Fi. Let's see if you can see that. It's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, it is there. However, Surface Pro 3 and 4 are not. You can see the little cross sign there. But our Wi-Fi here, if you remember from earlier TikTok videos, is powered by Radius. So, technically you need a username and password to connect to the Wi-Fi. Now, excuse me while I Control-Alt-Delete because I cannot connect at the lock screen. So, hit Enter. Now, before you type in username and password, it's imperative that you connect to the Bitech Systems Wi-Fi. There we go. Now let's log in. And we'll go ahead there. Up. Wow, wrong password. There we go. While that does its thing, I'm going to log in to one of these old ThinkPads as well, because I need it for the demonstration. Excellent. While this Pentium 3 is chugging along, there it is at the desktop. It's kind of funny how the ThinkPad got to the desktop. I was about to say before the Surface, but there's the Surface right there. It just came up. Now, the point I'm trying to make is not only is this 100% wireless, let me unplug the power cord. Now, I can go where I want to go with this because the Wi-Fi works efficiently. Now, because the touchscreen is royally fucked on this, I have to use the wireless mouse, and you see I've got it right here. But I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and what I'm going to do is demonstrate the roaming home folders again. Now, I know we already saw this in a previous video, but I just think it's so cool how you can do it between Windows 11 and Windows XP. So I will create a new folder on the desktop. There it is right there. And I will go ahead and throw it in the trash. Get ready to create another new folder. And this time, we're going to watch the ThinkPad now. There it is. And that was instantaneous sync. I didn't need to log out and log back in like I would with a roaming profile. But it the desktop is not even local on the computer. The desktop is on the file server. So if I make a change to the desktop here, it's automatically going to make a change to the desktop anywhere else I'm logged in because it's the same desktop. So like if I was to go to the ThinkPad here and right click, rename, and before I save the rename, we'll just watch right here. Ready? Here we go. Yep. I'll hit the delete key on the ThinkPad, throw it in the trash, and there it goes. It's gone off the Surface. And that is the wireless sync between two different devices on the network. So it works pretty well. I can also do this from Apple machines as well, which if you're using roaming profiles, that's something you can't do. But roaming home folders, every version of Mac OS since 10.5 supports putting the home folder of a user on a network share. So basically the home folder of the user is on the file server, the entire home folder. And I have the Windows machine set to map the H drive to that exact same location. And then all I have to do is just write some scripts to make the actual desktop point to H:/desktop, or the documents folder H:/documents. And then that works. So really, because the Apple stores, the Macintosh stores the home folder on the network, and I just map to that home folder from the Windows machine. And that's basically how that works. The file server runs Linux, so it's compatible with SMB here on the Windows machines, SMB on the modern Macs, like these iMacs or that MacBook, AFP on the older Macs, that's Apple Filing Protocol, and also Apple Filing Protocol on the OS 9 machines, and AFP over here on the PowerBooks. God, this focus is awful today. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we could use AFP to connect from there, AFP to connect from the iBook clamshell, SMB to connect from the MacBook Pro, AFP to connect from the Power Macintosh G3, the Power Mac G4, and the Power Mac G5. If we spin around here, SMB to connect all these Windows laptops and Surface tablets, AFP to connect from the iBook G4, and AFP to connect from the iBook G3. And of course, SMB all along there, SMB all along here. But it doesn't matter. It all works, and it all secured through Active Directory. Even though it's a Linux-based file server, you have to log in to the file server with Active Directory credentials. And that's actually the way that I have secured the Mac OS 9 machines down. Matter of fact, I'll show that. So here I am sitting at the iBook G3. You could tell it's a G3 because it's running OS 9, but that's not the only way. You could tell because it just says iBook there. Unlike the G4, which is running OS 10 and it says iBook G4. The reason why this doesn't run OS 10, even though it's perfectly compatible with OS 10, is because you can only run up to 10.4 on here. And 10.4 is below. You have to have at least 10.5 in order to have the home folder be on a network share. You can have 10.4 on here. In fact, 10.4 is installed on here. Never use it though, because it doesn't support logging in over a network to a network home folder. It'll just sit there at the login window and just bounce you right out. So we use these with Mac OS 9. And if you didn't know, I've actually got a single user account on the Macintosh Manager, which is my Mac Mini G4 server that controls all my classic machines. It says this machine runs Mac OS 9 and does not support the Central Active Directory login system. Instead, use the following credentials to sign in, and a shortcut to the network file server will be available on the desktop. Use your central login credentials to access the file server. So, there's the username and password. I need to change that sign because I actually have set it up now so that it prompts to sign in to the network file server immediately on login. But I'm not going to go and reprint all those signs. But you see that the home icon did in fact appear on the desktop now. What the sign was referencing is that there's a Network Mounts OS 9 drive that appears on login, and that has all of the links going to the specific locations on the file server. I have to do that from the server. Okay. But you can see that I've actually loaded up my home folder. And you can tell this is on the network. One, because it takes a minute to open anything. I'm trying to find a folder that's got a lot of items in it. Like, it's not instant. You can also tell it's on the network because the network activity light will flash whenever I go to any folder. You see it flash right there in the corner. There we go. And you can also tell it's on the network because it says I've got 7,375.49 gigabytes available, which is right. Because if we were to log on to another machine, say the iBook G4 here, which does support central login through Active Directory, it would say there's about 7 terabytes available in the home folder, which is correct. This thing only has 120 gig solid state drive in it. Yes, I upgraded these to solid state, except for this one because it would not take a solid state drive. Moves so fast though. Macintosh SSD. Look, 69 gigs available. This is on the hard drive or the solid state. Now let's move over to the home folder, Shift Command H. 7.2 terabytes available. So yeah, Mac OS 10 knows what a terabyte is. However, Mac OS 9 does not know what a terabyte is, and it says it in gigabytes. Why won't you focus? 7,375.49. Now, there's 53 items in the folder, but Mac OS 10 knows to hide the unnecessary items. Mac OS 9 does not. It shows everything. But these two are exactly the same folder. And it's also the same as, let's see if I go to desktop here. It's the same as what's on my IBM ThinkPad over there. So if I do Shift Command N, which will create a new folder, You should be able to see it pop up on the ThinkPad right now. And it's taking a minute to synchronize, but that's fine. Let's go over there. Sometimes Apple has a cache version of the desktop or the home folders. However, if I refresh this, okay, why is it not? Okay, there it is. I had to refresh the desktop, but there it goes right there. H desktop untitled folder. Say I want to throw this in the recycle bin. Delete. Well, you can't use the recycle bin on a network drive, but it's gone now. Let's see what happens if I try and open untitled folder. It goes away. Yep. But yeah, that's basically the synchronization level I have here between OS 9, OS 10, Windows XP, and Windows 11. Everything stays in sync, and it's wonderful. Log out. Command Y to eject the network storage. And now Command Q to log out. There we go. And you know how it works here. Control Alt Delete. Log off, log off. Surface tablet, I need to Control Alt Delete like this. And I'm still logged in even though it went to sleep, so I'm gonna have to actually enter my password again. And then Control Alt Delete again. And sign out. And there we go. Back to normal.